Hello friend, how are you? Welcome to Tripan Study Center. Today we are going to do the chapter of social science and highlighting each and every point of it. Let's see what is our topic today. Ascent world. Ascent world is the most important chapter for the all competitor exam. But here come to the first topic, the Browsen age. The Browsen age there is the most important here. Toward the end of the new stone age began to use of metal. The copper was the first metal used by them. The copper was first metal used by them. There is a UPSC question examination that is important. The culture based on the use of both stone and copper are called the calothetic culture. Calothetic culture. This is also is called Browsen age. Browsen age because of there is an invention of the Browsen in this period and which is on alloys of copper and tin. Gradually, copper and bronze replace a stone, boards and bonds to be some extent of making weapon and implement also here. People learn how to make the brick and use them to the construction. This brick where is a backyard and the sun dried. Town-based civilization come up from to the first time in different rivers valleys here. And this town and become center of trade, commerce and administration. That is important. The Brazil has people had built up to great civilization and made significant contribution. In this section, we will be read about there is a four major Brazilian age civilization world involved. That is the most important here. The major four here. The first of all here Mesopotamia, and second here Egypt, and third here India and China. There is a fourth China. There is the most important here. There is a Bronze age in the world civilization. The main here four here: Mesopotamia, Egypt, India, and China. First topic come on your screen. There is a Mesopotamia civilization. Mesopotamia civilization, there is a most important civilization here. Mesopotamia was the land lying between two rivers. There is a lining between two rivers of Tigris and Euphrates, the which is lies in the modern day of Iraq. There is a modern day is called to the Iraq, and this river where is often to the flood and the process there are deposit a lot of slite which are made a land around them very fertile. This resulted in increasing of food production also. The bounded agriculture produced or embellished the growth of number of craft persons like smiths and potters, masons and weaver and carpenter. They sold their product and got their necessaries from to other in exchange. They carried on the trade with the fur of place like India. The carts, wagons, boat and ship were is used for transport and communication here. They also is developed the art of written and the script was a collection of symbol of picture. The drive of bed is like a line and so this script has come to now there is a cuneiform script. The cuneiform script there is the most important here. The earliest cities of the Mesopotamia were like a small state. The small state that is important, and each with its own administration. The ruling class are consist of the priests, kings, and aristocrats. Beside them, vary as merchants, ordinary people, and slaves. The people of their Mesopotamia is worshipped a many god and goddess like a sky, sun, moon, fertilities, etc. These cities has a oven, patron and god and goddess. There is a important here. Here show the Mesopotamia is some picture here of 3200 BC ago, 3000 BC ago, and 2400 BC ago, and 1000 BC ago. There is a head is the head and the against to walk and the shows the hand. There is a important here diagram on screen. There is a symbol of the barley there on this side and bread is a this symbol and water as like a this symbol for in this time and there this symbol, there is the most important symbol on different time period and Mesopotamia. Here the script of the cuneiform script, there is a most important symbol here on the water, days and birds. Word symbol is also is important and different period time. There is a cuneiform script on the Mesopotamia here. There is an important point here. The next here, Egyptian civilization. Egyptian civilization is the most important on this period time here. Another civilization arose to the Egypt along the river Nile, which have made their land every fertile. The Egyptian kings were called Pharaoh. Pharaoh, they had a minister and officer in this service, that is administrator their land and collected tax from them. The priest is enjoyed to the very high and honorable position in a society. There are priests, they enjoy a very high and honorable position in a society on the Egypt civilization time. Temples are dedicated to be a particular god in each town or cities. The ascent is a Egyptian script is called is a hieroglyphics. The hieroglyphics, there is the most important Egyptian civilization here. Trade and marches carried on their business both and land, there are water. There is a both land and water. And there was skill of worker like a stone cutters and carpenter. The stone cutters and carpenters, that is the most important. Egyptians had to considerable knowledge of weight and measuring. There is a also important on Egyptian civilization time here. The Pharaoh built up great momentums of their ascent world. The pyramids, they are important. Since the Egyptians believed to the is afterlife, they are preserved to a dead body, preserve of dead body, and this is called to the mummies. The mummies, there is a pyramid where is built as a tomb, keep a mummified bodies of the dead kings. That is the most important on Egypt time period here. The dead bodies are preserved on the make mummies. Here show the ancient Egyptians is a hieroglyphic. There is a most important. There is a bird or symbol of A, leg symbol of B, and there is a umbrella. There types of C, hand a D. But different is the hieroglyphical of language on this period time. Show you on the screen. There is a most important word on here. There is a Egypt civilization here. They also show the hieroglyphical script in the A to Z here. The Z here is the bean of snake has the beam. They are important, and the difference is here show the duck here show the U and difference I is the R. There is a fish type like, and flower is O. There are difference, and the lion is L, and snake is a J. There is a most important here on the hieroglyphical script on Egypt period time. The next year, Chinese civilization. Chinese civilization is also important. The Chinese civilization are grew up to in there is a Heaven Ho Valley in the northern China. Have gone Ho Valley is the northern China. There is a most important Chinese civilization here. The first rulers now to the where is the Sangas. Sangas 1523 BC to 1122 BC. And who built a China as a first city. They also is a contribute to arts and culture. The Chinese written system was developed during two period, and craft person of this period, especially their brows and worker, there is a great expect in their field. That's important. The Sangha dynasty was the overthrow by the zone who built their strong fort and walled town to be defined himself from the invader. It was during the later phase of the Zhou rule that Iran introduced this is the ending of browsing as in China. In 221 BC, the Qin rule come power in China. Qin's rulers come to be power in China. They are ordered to use of common language, common law, and common weight and measuring throughout their empire. Do you know that they were the rulers who built up the famous Great Wall of China? there is a Great Wall of China. There is the most important famous here. Seven Americas is a wonder here. After China, the Han dynasty can be power who ruled till of the AD 220. It is was during to the period of the Chinese trade had a contact with the west through the famous scale route crossing Central Asia and Persia. There is a important. The people of China worshipped a number of deities as a worship of Asanta, natures and spirit were very common. China is a famous religious spiritual is named to the Confucius, advocated as a system of right behavior which a great influence Chinese society and government. He later emphasized to the God morals, character, respect of the elder, and loyalty of the family, and of the science of redemption to be law of the state. But there is a most important topic arrive here: India Indo-Valley civilization. India's valley civilization, there is a most important civilization here. Do you know that India is also part of Brazil as civilization, which are flourished in the valley of river Indo and other warring regions. And this ancient civilization was discovered when archaeologists began to excavating a site connected with the 19th-20th century. This first site excavated via Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. That why is also is called Harappa civilization. That is called a Harappa civilization. It represents 100 sites of these cultures are now. The most important site is here Harappa. There is a western Punjab and Mohenjo-daro is a Sindh and Lothal is Gujarat and Kalibanga is Rajasthan and Ropar the Punjab and Banavali is there is and Rakhigadi is the Haryana and Doravara is Gujarat. There is a most important site here. There is a founder here. There in Sani, there is a most important site is the founder. That's important here. First of all, see here a town planning of Harappa civilization. The Harappa civilization town planning there is a most important. One of the most interesting feature of this civilization was the emergence of the first urban society in South Asia. The most remarkable aspect was the high level of sophistication in the town planning. Craft and culture. Craft and culture is the planning the more important. The people live in a well-planned cities. A generally feature of cities was the presence of fortified is the satire where there are house public building. There is important here. 45 is crystal there were the house public buildings and the cities had a wild road. There is a city town planning. There a city was a wild road and which cut each other at the right angle. The house were a brick. The house here a brick built and most of these were two storied. There is a well bath, drain and sewage in the each of house. There is a most important development in this time. The well, path, drain and a sewage in each house. Paved the road and the street as the lightings were also is norm. Apart from living house in the lower town, a big multi-pillared hall have this also been to discover at the Citadel area and Mohenjo-daro. Here the most striking feature was the great path. There is a great path is the 180 feet long and 108 feet is a longer and the 108 feet is a wide. There is a most important here a great path. The bathing pool in it was 39 feet long. The bathing pool is here 39 feet long and 23 feet is wide and 8 feet deep. There is the most important bathing pool here. The great is a granary or Harappa was another important building. The surplus is produced by their peasant was stored here. The granary there is the most important surplus there is a produce and pleasant was stored here. The next year Harappa there is society and economics. Society and economics condition in Harappa culture. The people of practice agriculture, animal husbandry, art, craft, trade and commerce. Main crops where is a beet, vallis, grey, same and the pea. Evidence of rice has been to found at the Lothal and Rangpur. Lothal and Rangpur, there is the most important evidence of rice been found here. The forums mark found to the Kalibanga show that a plunging was the now there at them, and sickles where is used for harvesting. A various form of irrigation were a practice. The cotton was a now a product. Cotton was a now a product. The animal like a cow, goats, sheep, heifer bulls, dogs, cat, camel, and donkey were domesticated. That is a domesticated. The people consume our cares is the fish, meat, milk, egg, and fruits. That is the most important in this time. Tool and weapon made from the copper and bronze were mostly used. Ornament were made of gold, silver, precocious and the semi-precocious stone and conch and the ivories. Iron was not now to them. Among the artisan and craft person were the potter, weavers, mason and carpenter. Smith and jeweler is a cuspotters and stone culture. The brick maker and the terracotta manufacturings and trade and commerce were also very important economical activities in this time. Both inter-religious trade and external trades were carried out. Several evidence point of Harappa trade with there is a Mesopotamia. Main import is a consist of metal like a gold, tin, copper, and various kind of precocious as semi-precocious stone. Among the export there is the agricultural product, cotton, goods and potteries, jewelries, and the enologist product and other craft is Harappa. Seals were probably used for a commercially purpose. The society was divided into classes. That is important. The next year, religions and culture. The cloud of the mother goddess seemed to be has been very popular among them. The many is a figures of mother goddess has been found. One male or devotee has also been found at the Monojodaro, which has been to call their prototypes of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva means Pasupati. The Lord Shiva here, Pasupati. This idiot is represented in the seal and sitting in the logics is a posture and surrounding by animal. There is the most important religious culture here. And the lingams, worker and nature worship of tree were prevalent. Can you see there is similarity in the religious practice among the Hindu and Indian even today? When you visit a Shiva temple, you can see the Shiva is a lingam and worshipper. You must be aware that a Hindu also is a worship tree like a people on Harappa civilization time. The next year, technique and skill. Technique and skill, there is a most development in this time. There also is a quite high level of technique skill in this time. They had a knowledge of urban engineering, weight and measuring, wealth and hygienics. They also knew how to write their use to the script, which has not yet been to spared. That is important. And the next topic here, the decline. Decline there is important here. It is difficult to say what actually caused by ultimate decline of civilization. Naturally, as a climate seems to be the most important, and there is important is the causing of the decline of civilization. The rarings of flood, drying of river, decreasing of soil fertility, and deforestation due to the constant consumption of woods and like earthquakes, scant rainfall, extension of deserts seem to be have a play heavier with their civilization. According to some scholar, the decline of our trade is a Mesopotamia, however, might be contributed to the decline of this civilization. That is important. Mesopotamia maybe have contributed to the decline this civilization, and with decline of literacy is urban life disappear in India for more than 1,000 years. The next topic is the most important here, Iron Age civilization. Iron Age civilization, there is the most important civilization here, estimated on the Iron Age. Iron Age began about 3,000 years ago when it is come to be produced on a large scale and its use have become a common. It was a much cheaper, stronger than the copper and bronze. So their use of iron tool and implement invalid over to the forefathers to be clear, forest and ridiculums land to be extension of cultivation. Agriculture production and increasing considerable, and this both are radical change in the social and economical life of the people. That is important. There is a radical change in the social and economical life of people on Iron Age civilization. The use of iron had a great impact on our transport and communication. There in iron, there is the most useful here on this time. There's the impact of the transport and communication also. The iron as the rims and the spokes were used of wheels to make them stronger. Know that there is the iron rims of the wheel. There is a make of stronger. Iron nails and seat were widely used for making boats and sheep. That is also important here. The iron nails use a making of boat and sheep. Trade and commerce is a flourish in this time, and this trade as a both is a prosperity is a new weapons of war like their use of long. Heaviest ball to the saber is a saber iron seated spear and the lance a chain their method of is a warfare. That is important. The Iron Age was also a period of it actually is a progress. This time is a progressing on this period. The most important development was beginning of the alphabet. There is a most important beginning here alphabet, and this is a replace there is a all pictographic style of written about which they have you already read the browser as civilization of Egypt. There is a replace here all pictographic style. There is a browser as a civilization of Egypt here. Mesopotamia and China, and there Egypt and Mesopotamia and China there is a use of the pictographical style, but Iron Age development there is a alphabet is also beginning here. The civilization that flourished during the Iron Age were Greece, Rome, Paris, and India. And there is a much more advanced than the earlier civilization. Let us now read about them the some detail in this section or different types of civilization. The first of all come here a Greek civilization. The Greek civilization is the most important point here. Greek civilization is a flourish in a Greece more than a 2000 year ago. There is a most important period time here 2000 year ago. There arose the many independent city-state which developed a remarkable system of government. There is a many cities and state dependent. Only their state is the development and remarkable is the system of government. The development of city and state was a unique feature of Greek civilization. There is a unique feature on this time. Each city was the enclosed by a wall for a protection. There is important the wall here protection, and inside the city there was a fort called to the Acropolis which has the situated on a hilltop. Among the Greek city-state, the most famous were Athens and Sparta. Athens was a rich and cultured, and Athenians civilization is include writer, philosopher, artisan, and thinker. Thinker is the most important on this period time. There is Athenians is include a writer, philosopher, artist, and thinker. There is a thinker is the most important, and here the society was based on slave labor. There is a society here a slave base, but the citizen is enjoy a democratic form of government. The society was based on slave labor, but citizens as enjoy democratic of government. You will be read about the democracy in a detail. There are little lesson. Sparta was almost like any army camp where everyone was expected to well there is a surprise. And Sparta has been to best army in a Greeks. Training in the warfare was considered to be their most important things here. There was a considerable rivalry between to the Athens and Sparta, but there fought at the side by there is a drive from a Manthens is a Parisans army of the races one and I and Exers. Exers is the who try to the conquer a Greece. Under the Parisal, their Athens enjoy a golden age. But long war between two Athens and Sparta is called to the Peloponnnesia War. Is a Peloponnnesia War which latest for the 27 year resulted in the failure of Athens. That is important. Do you know that a Saint Greek that her destruction of began is called to the birthplace of Western civilization? There is a Saint Greek, a district began to call their birthplace of Western civilization. And they were of pioneers in art and learning. Pioneer, art and learning, and science, literature, and sculpture. That is important. Ascoret is a Platos as Aristotle, where is a great philosopher. There are Plato, Aristotle, Ascoretus. There is a great philosopher who was a work artist study even today. Herodotus and Thucydides were famous historians. Herodotus and Thucydides were famous historian on this period time. And Archimedes and Aristotle and Democritus were a great scientist. Archimedes is the most important, and Aristotle and Democritus were a great scientists in this period time. Achilles, Spoles, and the artist Pone were great dramatics, and Homer was the author of famous epics of Epic Land and the Odyssey. That is the most important here. The Greek also had a great knowledge of architecture. There is a great knowledge of here architectures. They built many beautiful temples and places here. On this period time, the Greek believe in a many gods. The Greek believe in a many god. Each city had its own protector gods and goddesses. The gods were believed to live on Mount Olympus. There is a Olympics game. The Mount Olympus means there are Olympic game. First are recorded in a 776 BC. Was held every 4 years at a place called to the Olympia. Sport and athletics events were held to be Zonar Genu, their king of gods. The Greek town where is a center of administration as well as culture and economic activities. The farmer mainly grapes, olives, and grain. The farmer mainly grow here grape, olives, and grain. Wine and olive oil were important product on this time. The Greek at one time also established was an empire. Alexander of the Macedonia, and better known to history of Alexander Great lead his army out of Europe and is conquered Syria and Mesopotamia, Egypt, Afghanistan, even to the part of Central Asia and Northern Western India also. And this led to be a spirit of Greek idea and learning. Alexander died at one's age of 33 only. The Alexander died at the age of 33 only. After the death, his empire broke up into the smaller kingdom, and later Greek was conquered by the Romans. The next year, Roman civilization. There is an important point here, Roman civilization here. In a 510 BC, the Romans set up republic on city of Rome, which on the river of Tiber in a center Italy. There is a 510 BC Romans set up a republic on city of Rome, which is a river Tiber is a center Italy. The Roman Republic was ruled by the center which consists of a group of elders called senator. Senators, there is an important senator in this time. There are selected two is a consuls each year to be lead them by the 200 BC. Rome became their leader power of Italy. It was able to defeat rebels like a Carthage for the control of Mediterranean world. In the earlier Roman society, there were three class of people. The earlier Roman society, their class are divided by a three group. The first year patrician is a aristocrat and plebeians is a commoners and the slave also. There is a three group here. A patricians is a aristocrat and the plebeian is a commoners and the slave also. Roman economy was based on slave labor. Economics here only depend here. A slave labor, rich Roman is often slave, and these slaves were often trained from to the gladiator flight, which was a fight between two slave and wild animal. And there were also a frequent slave revolt in a Rome. And one such a revolt was led by Spartacus in a 74 BC. There is a most important period time here 74 BC. Third, there is a Rome was a republic stronger and influential. A leader fought for a power. Julius is a Caesar was once such a leader who got a enormous power and because a director. In the 44 BC, Caesar was murdered and the civil war broke out. After the war, Augustus Caesar became the first empire of Rome. Augustus Caesar became a first empire of Rome. The Roman Empire split three continents. There are three continents of Rome Empire spread here. First here Europe, Asia, and Africa. There is an important Roman Empire spread here. Europe, Asia, and Africa. Do you know that it was during the rules of Augustus the great prophet is Jesus Christ appeared here. He was a founder of Christianity and he was born the Bethlehem. According to him, all men and women are the children of God. He taught the people is to love each other. After the death, the followers, the Christ is spread is the teaching among the people. At its peak, the Roman Empire sketched from Mesopotamia in the east of Gaul and Britain in the west. Mesopotamia in the Gaul and British is the best. That is the most important here. And people throughout their empire adopted Roman way of living. There is a thought out there is an empire adopted to the Roman way of living. Town with the is a bath. There a bath is a temples and place where a thrace were a built. That is important. In the countryside, the Roman built a hug. There is a comfortable frame house called to villas. There is a frame house called villas. Roman rulers used to the preside over victory and thus religious and ceremonies and game in their arenas of amphitheatres. Gladiator as a fight, erote and the racing and threat were a sum of common measurement. There is important here. Here show the Roman Colosseum. There is a most important structure on your screen. There is a Roman Colosseum. There is a most important here. The Roman Empire was divided into several provinces, each ruled by a governor. He had a number of officers under this who look after different affairs of administrations, and this is the main fighting forces of Roman army were the legions. Each legion had a 5,000 soldier headed by their commander. The Roman Empire was governed by their personal will of the empire, but its power depended on army, and big empires were often to the overthrown by their army generals. Journals, they are important. By the 395 AD, there is a AD. The Huns Roman Empire was divided into two halves for a better governance. The eastern part of capital Eta by Mausolem survived even after the fall of the Western Roman Empire in the face of barbarian invasions in 476 AD. Empire of Constantine gave Byzantium as a new name is a Constantinople. It is because home of Eastern Orthodox Christians faith and the capital city of Byzantine Empire. The next year, Persian civilization. There is important here. Persian civilization in the Iron Age. The Persian is a modern Iran. There is a modern Iran on this period time. There is a Persian, this is a modern Iran was inhabited by their Aryan communities. There are Aryan community. One branch of them now as the Medes settled in the western part of country. Another branch of occupied there is southern and eastern part and was called the Persian. The Medes built up to a powerful kingdom covering a vast area of Iran. At first, there is a Persian also had to be acknowledge the supremacy of the Medes. One of the Persian kings, Cyrus, united by the Persian in 550 BC. He built a powerful army and successfully conquered is by Lon. Asturias is Asia Minor. Darius I was there is the greatest empire of the Persia. He belonged to be Anchomenias in the century. His empire is catching from a river Indo to the eastern shore of Mediterranean Sea. He made a Persepolis his capital in 518 BC. During his reign, Persian art, architectures, and sculptures and flourished as also built a powerful navy. The Persian Empire was able to administrate and they divided there is an empire into the provinces is each governed by their satrap of governor. Satrap is governor, they important. The Persians were a good soldier with a strong cavalry navy and they had iron weapon. Thought the Persians were defeated by Alexander the Great in 331 BC. Their civilization did not become to an end. Their culture and civilization continued to flourish under to the Parthians and Sasanian Empire. But ultimately there were is conquered by the Arabs in the 7th century AD. Like the Indo-Aryan, the earlier Persians is a worshipped the forces of nature, and they believed in the is a sun god, a sky god, and other god in this period of time. They are considered a fire to be a symbol of holiness, and there is also perform of fire. They prioritized the animal sacrifices. Later, religious as a preachers and roaster. Found religious is called to the Zoroastrianism. He taught them about the Hira Mazada, the Lord of Heaven and the Light. Heaven and the light, there is a important Lord in this time, who give me the strength and the energy. According to the Zoroaster, life was a constant struggle between two good light and evil darkness. There is a good here a light and evil is a darkness. The holy scripture of Persians is called Jan Avesta. The then Avesta that are important. Next year, India, the Vedic age. The India is the Vedic age. There is an important. The Vedic age is a mark a new phase in the ascent in Indian history. You know that there is an important. The Vedic age is a mark a new phase in ancient Indian history which began with the arrival of Aryan in India is around 1500 BC. There is 1500 BC. There is the most important period time here. There is an Aryan arrive in India. It is the latest formed almost a thousand years, in the course of which is a number of economic, social, political, and religious developments took place here. The Vedic age accordingly is divided into two periods. Is about equal duration, earlier Vedic period and later Vedic period. There is a most important period time here, earlier Vedic period and later Vedic period here. Have you heard of the Vedas? There is an important question. Have you heard of the Vedas? They are most important source of information of the Vedic age. The earlier Vedic period is known mainly for the Rig Veda, which was the first Veda to be composed. There is a first Veda, the first Veda is composed here, Rig Veda. From this period went to the Vedic tribes living in the northern west part of subcontinent including Punjab and Afghanistan. We do not have much archaeological evidence here. This is probably because the early Vedic peoples generally led a nomadic life and did not stay for long at any place. Their economical was mainly a pastoral, that is important, and cattle rearing was the chief means of livelihood. Horse, goat, and sheep were almost important in this period of time. A little agriculture was also practiced here. A family clan that tribe is called Jan, where the social units and there is were no castes here. The chief of tribes was called Raja, that is important, and popular assemblies of all member of Jans is called Savas and Samiti. Had importance is the public affair. A number of Dalits where is worshipped. Indra began to the most important them here. The Indra is the most important worship here. Is important. The Vedic period is now is a much greater details from to vast surplus of later is a Vedic literature as well as former archaeological materials here. The later Vedic literature is comprised of the following book, and that is the three Vedas, Sam Veda, Azur Veda, and Earth Veda. There is the most important here, three Vedas on this period of time, Sam Veda, Azur Veda, and Earth Veda. There is also is a commentaries all of four Vedas is called Brahmanas, is a Arkana and Upanishad. Upanishad is important, and Brahmans and Aryana caste is there Upanishad here. A large number of sites belonging to this period have also been excavated. They are all marked by a topically poetry is called Pantheist Greek words means PGW, and so now is the PGW sites here. During the later Vedic period, there was a large scale eastward is a movement of the Aryan communities to Indo-Ganetics in the Dobas and Upper Ganga plain area. Toward the Indo period, three important kingdoms come from further east: Kashi, Koshal, and Vidya. There is a Vidya is important. Agriculture was not a main occupation in this period of time, and the number of crops, including rice, wheat, and sugarcane, were growing on the field. The craft also is multiplied as iron, weapon, and tools were reduced on this period of time. People now led to the settle of life in a village, and castes began to emerge and crystallize in their form of four here. The Brahmans is a burns. This time is called the four burns here. The first here the Brahmans, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. There is the most important words established by in this period of time here. The powers of kings and his mean are increased, and those of assembly where is a prominently is undermined. Sacrifice is now become a very elaborate. The importance of God Indra is stated here. The new god such as Prajapati's figure of prominent is a Prajapati is a figure prominent is toward the end of period. Our reaction to be a sacrificial is rituals could be also be observed, which we find are mentioned in the Upanishads. The next year, the post-Vedic age. The post-Vedic age, there is some important here. In the 6th century BC, there is an important period of time here. 6th century BC, where a come up large terraneous state in the northern and eastern India known as the Mahajanpad. There is called is a Mahajanpad, and there is a 16 such a state, namely Anga, Magad, Bazai, Kashi, Koshal, Malya, Kuru, Panchal, Vasta, Avanti, Kamboj, Gandhara, Ashoka, Charis, Matyasya, and Survasena. Among these, Magad and Koshal and Amavatis where is the most powerful. On this period time, Magad, Koshal, and Avantis where is the most powerful here. And the extension of the agriculture, growth of trade and industries, rise of tier to the state and beginning of the urbanization give a rise to be new forces in a society. Thus, the 6th century BC was also a period of social, religious, and transformation. People express there is a mystification against the athletics and Brahmanism is a Vedic sacrifice. There is a more than numerous in the sect of the is a reformatory movement. This period is called to the ascent period in history. Say the rise of two important religions called Jainism and Buddhism on this period of time. The first of all here, Buddhism. Let's come to the study of Buddhism here. The next topic is the most important here of Buddhism. Buddhism is the most important in this period of time here of Buddhism. Gautam Buddha, the founder of Buddhism, was born in 563 BC in the Lumbini, which is situated near a Indo-Nepal border. He was the son of Sudodhan. There is a son of Sudodhan. There is the most important here. There is important is a born of 563 BC, Lumbini, and there is the near of Nepal border. And father here, Sudodhan. There are chief of Sakya and Kapil Bastu. At the age of 29, Gautam left home attend to the Buddhi agreement of the Buddha Gaya under a peepal tree. He delivered the first seminar at the Sarnath near Varanasi. His the teaching include a four noble truth is the Arya Satya and the 8 foot Patya Ashtam Marga. There is the most important on this. According to the Buddha here, the four path is the most important according to their Buddha here. First, the world is a fully of mysteries is a dukkha. There is a world is a fully of mysteries is the dukkha. And desire of Krishna is the causing of his mysteries. And if desire in the conquered is then all the sorrow can be removed. And this can be done by following a 8 foot path, which include a right memory, right aim, right speech, right action, right livelihood, and right effort, right memory, and their right meditation. There is a 8 foot path of given to the Mahatma Buddha. But is a Buddha suggested a middle path away from a both extremely is a luxury as well as extremely a state. He also is laid down to the code of conduct such as a non-killing and non-stealing for the followers. He died at the age of 80 years. There is a time period of 483 BC at the Kushinagar in Uttar Pradesh. That is the most important period time. And the next year, Jainism. The next point is important here, Jainism. Jainism has a short history on your screen. There is the most important for all exam view here. The first Tirthakara here, Rishwanath. Rishwanath, there is a first Tirthakara in a noun, they are founder of Jainism. The Jainism is a founder also here. There are Rishwanath. Rishwanath is a first, is a Tirthak, there is important, and there is a Bardhaman Mahabira was the 24th Tirthakara. There is the important point. But Bardhaman Mahabira was the 24th Tirthakara of the sect of the here Parshvanath is the beginning their 23rd one. There is important point also. Parshvanatha is a 23. There is one. Mahavira was born in a 5040 BC at the Kundagram near a Vaishali, Bihar. There is an important. The Vaishali, Bihar. His the father was a chief Jaitrika Kshatriya's clan. Mahabira became on the ascetics at the age of 30 years and died at the Paval Puris in the 468 BC near the Rajagriha. The Rajagriha important is his follower come to be known as the Jains. There is a followers here can be known as the Jains. Justicism has a no place for a supreme creator. There is Justicism has a no place for a supreme creator. It is recognized the extensive of God, but place them lower than to the Jain teachers. The main aim of Justicism is the attachment of the freedom from worldly bonds. Like a Buddhism and Judaism oppose the strict here. Paradise and the evils of the Vedics is Brahmanism. It is also pose a caste system and accept there are doctrines of karma and rebirth. Judaism has a five cardinal and principle here. First of all is the ahimsa or non-violence. Ahimsa means as a non-violence. Second is the truthfulness. And third is the abstention from the stealings. And fourth here, non-attachment and is the fifth is the celibacy and brahmacharya. Brahmacharya is important here. The three jewels, there are three jewels Krishna here of Judaism here. Right vision, samyak darshan. Right knowledge, samyak jana. And the right is the conduct, samyak charitra. There is the most important three jewelers. The next topic here, the Maurya age. Maurya is the most important period time here. Their time here 322 BC to 184 BC. There is the most important period time here, Maurya age. Out of 16 Mahajanpad, there out of 16 Mahajanpad, it was a Magad that expanded to considerably under a powerful rule like is a Bhimsar. Bimbusar, there is the most important on this period time here. Ajasatru and Mahapadmananda, there is a last king of the Nanda then century was affected by the Chandragupta Maurya in 322 BC. There is the most important here Bimbusar and Ajasatru and Mahapadmananda. There is a last king of the Nanda the centuries here. And Chandragupta Maurya established here 322 BC. And he established the Maurya Empire, uprooting a Greek form of Punjab is a Nandas from to the Gangatric plants here. By the continued process of conquest and extensions, he was able to unify almost the whole of India. Chandragupta ruled from to the 322 BC to 297 BC. There is a most important period time here. He embraced the Jainism under the influence of here Bhadru Bahu. Bhadru Bahu is a die at the Srivambangaloga near Mysore. There is an important here. Bindusara here 297 BC to 272 BC. Bindusara is a period time here 297 BC to 272 BC. The son and successor of Chandragupta Maurya was also now as a Mitragarda is a layer of the enemy. And he is said to be inquired to the Deccans, extending a Maurya control as far as Mysore. He also had a contact with the Antiochus is one the Greek ruler of West Asia. It appears from the Buddhist literature that after the death of the Bindusara, there was a struggle from the throne as among his son. And the next year, Asoka. Asoka here 272 BC, there are 236 BC. There is the most important period time here. Asoka emerged victorious in this the Fishadal's war of succession and ascending their throne of Magad. An important event this the resign was the famous Kalinga War in year 260 BC. Kalinga is but there is the most important the mention in his rock edit is a 8. Later Asoka is embarrassed the Buddhism and give up a war. Give up a war. He was the benevolent the ruler and did not is many things for there is the welfare of his this subject. And his policy of the Dhamma was based on religious restoration and respect to the elder, care for the older, and kindness, truthfulness, and purity. It was thought the effort of Buddhism spread beyond to the boundaries of India. The rock edict of the pillar, written the inscriptor by him, give a detailed account of his reason. After the shock as a death, his empire are disintegrated into the species. There was also dangerous of foregone inventions. The economical condition of country is the noted. The last king of the Maurya dynasty is the Bhimdranatha. The Bhimdranatha is the most important here. Here show the most important Soka time has map here. There is a major rock addict here and pillar addict, minor rock addict and temoted limit. There is the most important in this show in this map. Here the Sangam age. There is a Sangam age. There are time period of 300 BC to 200 AD. There is a most important period time on the estimate of Sangam age. With the Sangam age, the historical period began to South India. The word Asangam means a assembly of scholars or literary figures. Let us enter to the royal patronage is the Pandyan's king of Madurai. And earlier Tamil literature is comprised to works such as the Tolopiyam and the 8 is an anthologies is the Tropians, is the Athoisia, is the 10 Adulus, Patupati. There is the 18 minor work and the 3 epics is a Silapa Dikram and the Manukhalia, there is a Sivan Sandamani. The Sangam is extended to roughly between 300 BC to 200 AD. Sangam literature refer to the is a primarily is a Pandyan kingdom. Pandyan kingdoms, but it also contain a valuable information about their Chol and Chera kingdom. The Pandya's rule is over on area comprising of southern Tamil Nadu. Madurai was the capital. The Chera is the ruler over to the Kerala and the Chos to the occupied is the northern Tamil Nadu and southern Andhra Pradesh. The next year, the Kusan is. Kusan is the most important year, brief history here. After the fall of Maurya Empire, a number of foreign power like Bactrians is a Greek and Shakas and Parthans is the Kushan involved in India. The rule in the western and northern is the western part of India. The Kushan where is a branch of the Yuchi tribe of Central Asia. The first ruler of Kushan was the Kuzul Kapinais and he is associated to the Bhima couple phases. The greatest ruler of Kushan Dasantri is a Kunishaka. Kunishka is who is become a king after the Bhima. Kushana is conquered to the Kashmir and established his supremacy over to Indo-Gangotri plan. He occupied to the Kushgar and the Urukhand and the Khotan and Central Asia. Punjab and Pakistan were also part of the empire. Kanishka was the devoted to the Buddhist and through his effort of Buddhism spread to China. Central Asia and other countries, he was also is a great potence of art and learning. And here, Purush Supura is a Peshawar was as a capital. Is a Puru Supura is a Peshawar was the capital and Kanishka as a sensation where a basic Shishka and the Husishka. Kanishka is the second and the Vasudeva. The Vasudeva was the latest great ruler of Kushan. After the death of the Mantli of Kushan Empire quickly disintegrated. The fall of Kushan Empire marked the beginning of political ascent to the northern India which continued about a century. The next year, The Gupta is. The Gupta is the most important period time here. The period here 319 AD to the 550 AD. There is the most important period time here. The rise of Gupta power in the 4th century AD and marked there is beginning of the new era in Indian history. Confusion is a political density. This unity there is were replaced by the integrated. Under the leadership and patronage of the powerful Gupta marches is a considerable a process was made in a different aspect of Indian life. There was also a high materials posterity and mentioned by the Farhan and Chinese travel to 4th to 5th century AD. There is the Farhan is the Chinese travel. There is the most important common Gupta Asia. Maharaja Sri Gupta is said to be the founder of the Gupta dynasty. There is a Maharaja Sri Gupta, the founder of Gupta dynasty. He was succeeded by the Ghatotkacha is Gupta. Ghatotkacha Gupta is a but is a Chandragupta one is here of 390 to 355 AD, who assumed the title of Mahadhiraja. Mahadhiraja is the most important title taken here. Was the first important Gupta march is there. Another important Gupta empire was the Samudragupta. Samudragupta is the most important in this time. The anthologies are composed by his court and poet Hari Sen. The quote here the Hari Sen, which is available of the Allahabad pillar inscription. Give a view account of Samudragupta as a military exploit. Besides began to grade a conquerors and the ruler, there is also was a poet, high order, patrons of art and learning, and a musician. He also performed the Asmaveda Yojana. There is a Asmaveda Yojana, symbol of empirical authorities. Samudragupta was succeeded by the Chandragupta II. There is a period time here 380 to 415 AD, and who assumed there is a title of Bikram Aditya. The Bikram Aditya after the victory over to the Shaka ruler of Western India. In other considerable dated this power, Samudragupta made important matrimonial alliances. His daughter, the Prabhavati, was the married to be a Vakataka ruler Rudrasena II. Vakataka ruler Rudrasena II, and the son and the successor of Chandragupta II and Kumar Gupta I. There is a period time here 415 to 455 AD. And was a resign was the market with the pace and pivot. He was succeeded by his son Sakand Gupta. Second Gupta, there is a period time here 455 to 469. There is a most important period time AD here who replies to the Hun invention several times. The successor of the second Gupta is a Puru Gupta, Buddha Gupta, and is a Narasimha Gupta. There is a most important here. They are not so powerful and competent. Is a gradually is lead to be declined and fall the Gupta Empire. Monarchy was the prevailing system of government during to Gupta as the king was assisted by the counselor of minister and other official day-to-day administration. The Gupta had a powerful army and the provinces were ruled by governor. The governor had under them a number of officers who is administrated is a district and the town. Village administration under the village headman is called to the Gharmika. I enjoy the considerable authorities. And the Gupta also developed is an efficient system of judiciary and revenue administration here. The next year is a post-Gupta age. Their post-Gupta age here of 550 AD to 750 AD. The period between to the downfall of the Gupta Empire and the rise of Maharaj Harshvardhana. Harshvardhana or Taneswara is considered to be period of confidence and the degradations here. During this time, India was broken into the several small independent state on this period time. Besides the Huna power, there were four other kingdoms in northern India, and these were later Gupta of Magad, the Hiramahu, Kharis and Kanuj, and the Pushpavati of the Thaneswar and the Mitrakash of the Vallabhi, Gujarat. Among the important southern India then settlers were Chalukyas as the Badmani and their Pallavas as a Kochi. And Pallavanis is 2 is 609 to 64 AD. And the Narsimha Barman is a 1 that is 630 to 668 AD are considered to be the greatest of Chalukya and Pallavans ruler respectively here. It was the Harshavardhana who is again made an attempt to rise on empire. He was according to the heir Sakal Toparthanatha because he had established there is a hold practically over to the wall of North India. And during this time is a political unity of India was to be some extent is restored. Harsha is a patronized and the Banbhatta. The Banabhatta, their author of is a Kadambari and the Harsh Charitra. Sun Stan, there is a Chinese scholar travel which India during to the Harshana as a resign. Sanka, there is a king of Bengal, was a complementary of Harsha. That is important. This period of history witnessed the consolidation of Hinduism, and the Hussein Tans is right about the extent of caste system in Indian society, and there was a rise of several mixed and sub-caste. Hussein Tans is also mentioned in their extent of untouchable and the outcast. The position of the women had also declined considerably during this period. In the religious field, there are ascendance of the Brahmanism and both about their decline of the Buddhism and Vaishnavism and Sivaism and Jainism were also practiced in this time here. Our next topic is the most important here. Indian civilization. Indian civilization is the one view only. Indian civilizations, there is important. Indian civilization has a very important place in the world history as the earlier Greece and the Rome in the India is also some kind of democratic and republicans from of government. Exactly in the same time, we also made a 10 years as a progress in the philosophy and the various branches of science. Indian contribution to be their field of mathematics, astronomy, chemistry, meteorology and medicine in the world mentioning here. Aryabhatta and the Brahma Mihara is a famous mathematician and astronomer. There is the most important here, Aryabhatta and Brahma Mihara is the famous mathematic and astronomer here. Charakya and the Susustra is where is a great physician. And Naga Arjuna was a famous chemist as well as a pharmacist. The concept of zero and decimal system of first involved in India. The Sun India is also show the great skill in art, architectures, painting and sculptures. Ashoka is a pillar, caps and Ajanta and Ellora is a South Indian temples. The famous stupa and Sachi Buddha is the image of Mathura was only a few examples from the West is ocean of Indian art. Many great centers of learning were developed in ancient India, like a Taxila is a Nalanda in the Vikramshila and the Vallabhi, Kashi and Kochi is which is important to the education to be both Indian and foreign student. Famous scholar and the teachers tell there is such as a center. Indian learning to the scholarship was highly appreciated, awarded by their Arab is a Muslim. Here show the most important here Sanchi Stupa. Sanchi Stupa there is the most important on this period time here. Many great works of literature were produced on ancient India. Rig Veda is the earliest is a specimen of Indo-European literature. The four Veda, Sustra and the two epics of Ramayana and Mahabharata, Smriti, Purans, Tripitakas and Jain's Agams and the other religious texts were a product of ancient India. Moreover, there are a number of drama, poets, and poetics work in this period of time. A great literacy is a figure like a Kalidasa, is a Banabhatta, and Harshena, and Visakha Datta, and Vasha, Bhairavi, Sukadarka, and many others belong to be in this period of time. Sanskrit, Pali, and Prakritic literature made a great process in ancient India. That is the most important period of time for the ancient India in the one view here.